Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah and we are a minimalist family who is living big with less. And today I have 30 powerful decluttering questions that you can use if you are overwhelmed on your decluttering journey, if you're suffering from decision fatigue, or if you're just starting out and you're not quite sure where to go. These questions are for all sorts of decluttering scenarios. So if you are looking for that little extra push to declutter a little bit further, these are the questions for you. Guys, I cannot wait to share with you these 30 questions. I use them all the time, not just in my own life, but when I am working with clients who are trying to declutter and simplify their life. These are the questions that I go in, prompting them to go a little bit further with their declutter, because when we start decluttering, our handbrake goes on and we just want to hold on to things. And so these things are about peeling back those first few layers and getting rid of more items. They're particularly good if you've already started decluttering and you've sort of reached a plateau, or you're suffering from decision fatigue. They can help just push you that little bit further or change your mind frame on that particular item. So guys, if you are new here and you haven't already, we would love to have you subscribe and join our YouTube family. I know that minimalism is sometimes going against the grain, and so if you are looking for a community of people who are here to cheer you on, hit that subscribe button, because I know that about half of you aren't actually subscribed yet. It's free and we would love to cheer you on your minimalist journey. Okay guys, I'm going to speed through these questions for you, but I'm also going to talk a little bit about why I like them, when I use them, and how you can use them too when you are decluttering. Number one, which is my absolute favorite, I come back to it all the time, is would I buy this today? The reason it is so good is because it reminds us of the financial obligations of buying things, and if you wouldn't buy it today, chances are you don't still want it, and so it's great for pushing yourself that little bit further. Number two, which has been made famous by the amazing KonMari method, is does it spark joy? Now, this isn't great for every single decluttering scenario, but I do like associating a feeling with some of those items that are harder to get rid of. So for example, sentimental items or design pieces, if you touch it, if you feel it and you don't get ignited with some sort of passion, chances are you're not loving it and it's time for it to go. Number three is that guilty clutter? And by guilty clutter, I mean, I feel guilty because I spent lots of money on it. I feel guilty because it was given to me as a gift. We don't keep guilty clutter. So if that is you, let go of those things. They're not serving you anymore, and holding on to it for guilt reasons isn't going to change the money you spent, or it isn't going to make you feel any better about that present. Number four, I really like, particularly for clothing and beauty products, is does it feel like me? Does it feel like something I want to wear? Does it feel like my personality? And if not, time to go. Number five is, can someone I know use this? This is a great one because sometimes when we're struggling to get rid of things, if we know that someone else is able to use it, or we've got it in our minds that someone else would really love it, that makes it a lot easier to part with. Number six, another one of my absolute favorites, I still use it all the time, is could I rebuy this item for less than $20? So this is great if you think you might need something but you're not really sure. If you know that you can rebuy it for under $20, it is a lot easier to let it go, knowing that if that blue moon situation comes around again, so for example, a cable or an item, a beauty product or a hair product that you think you might use, maybe, and then if the time does come, there is absolutely no guilt in rebuying it. Number seven is, how long has it been since I last used this? So you can decide what time frame you want things to be used within, whether it's 6 months, a year, or a month, you decide, but how long has it been since we used this? If it's years ago, it's probably time to go. If you moved it from 3 houses ago, it's probably time to go. That's a great way of judging how often an item is used. Number 8 is, can I give this item honor? Now this is particularly good for sentimental items or design pieces that you might be holding on to. that you're not sure whether you still want to keep them, I always think if you want to keep it, give it honor. If you want to keep it displayed in your home, give it a place. If it's sitting in a box, chances are you're not giving that item the honor that it deserves. And so either let it go or put it up. Number 9 is specifically for items that we're keeping for our kids, and that is how much are my kids going to want to take when they leave home. Are they going to want 30 boxes of their artwork? Probably not. So when you're going through artwork or craft pieces or even sentimental items, thinking about, hey, they're probably only going to want to take one box with them when they go, and so I need to scale this back that over the period of their childhood it's all going to fit into 1, 2 boxes or whatever that looks like for you. It just helps to give you a mind frame of what you're actually keeping it for. Number 10 is coming back to the finances because they are really tangible, is how much is this costing me to keep? Now that can be the actual monetary cost of things, but also the mental cost, that everything in our home is taking up some mental space. And so do I really want it sitting in my cupboard, me having to A, pay for storage for it, B, continue to pay to clean it and keep it in a condition that I can continue to use it, and how much mental space is it taking up, and is that item really worth it? Number 11 is very similar to one of the other questions, but is, would I prefer someone else to be using this? And again, it's just a slight tweak, but it can sometimes change your mind frame. So this can be good for hobby items, things that maybe you do want to keep or you're not sure how much to keep. But at the end of the day, if you would prefer someone else be actually using this item than it's sitting in your garage for that blue moon maybe one day, then it's a good idea to let it go, let it be loved. And if you do come to a stage in your life where you want to pick that up again, then you can repurchase it if that time comes. Number 12 is specifically for items that we wear, but it's, do I feel beautiful when I wear this? So whether that's makeup or hair products or actual clothing, if it doesn't make you feel beautiful, if it's not something that flatters you, then it's time to let it go. Number 13, does this line up with my goals? This is something I come back to all the time with clients of, yes, we could keep it. Yes, it might be really good quality. It might be tick all the other boxes. But if it doesn't line up with your goals about what you want your home to look like, how you want your home to function, that's a great way of letting items go that maybe are ticking lots of boxes, but just not serving you to the extent that you want them to. Number 14 is, how many of this item do I really need? So when you're going through your kitchen and you're looking through mixing bowls, how many mixing bowls do I actually need? Do I need 2, 3, 4? And then whatever that is, you know, okay, I'm gonna keep the best 4 bowls and let the rest go. This can be used all areas of your home. If you've got duplicates of anything, ask yourself, how many of these items do I really need? Number 15 is, which ones of these are my absolute favorites? Now, this is a great way of flipping decluttering on its head, and you're actually looking for the things you want to keep, but then it makes it easier to make decisions about the things you don't need anymore. And this is particularly good for kids when they're going through toys. I always say to my kids, let's pick out our favorites first, and we put them away in a really safe space so that they know that those items are not even up for debate about decluttering, and then we can work through those things that aren't our favorites, that we're not using and loving all the time. Number 16 is, do I have something else that can do the same thing? So this is about using items that you maybe could multitask. Recently, I got a pressure cooker, which then meant that I really wasn't using my slow cooker and my rice cooker all the time. And so I actually gave my slow cooker away because I already had a pressure cooker that could slow cook and cook rice. And so that one item, I was able to declutter 2 other items because it was a one size fits all. Number 17, got to be up there with the all-time greats, is, do I have space for this? And sometimes it doesn't matter how much you love it or how great it is. If you don't have space for it, that's a great limiter and a great way to get rid of things that maybe, again, are really ticking a lot of boxes but still not serving you in a great way. Number 18 is from a great book, which I'll link down below, on Swedish death cleaning, and it's, if I spilt red wine on it, how hard would I try to save it? And this is a great one about how much effort am I really willing to put into this in order to keep it. Because if you aren't willing to sort of spend 20, 30 minutes trying to clean something up, to use it and continue to love it, chances are you don't love it enough to keep holding on to it, storing it, and paying for it. Number 19 is, does this item make my life easier or harder? And this is for things like if you're every time getting to your favorite casserole dish and you're having to lift out 5 other casserole dishes that you really don't like, those other items are actually making your life harder. Same with shoes. If you've got a million pairs of kids' shoes and every time you're trying to leave the house, they can't find their favorites, all those other items are actually making your life harder. And so they're ready, once you get rid of those, the ones you're left with are the ones that are making your life easier. Number 20, super simple, would I miss it? Would I actually come and look for it if you haven't seen that item in a long time? If it was a box that you moved 2 years ago and you've never opened it, chances are you don't miss it and you don't need it. Number 21 is, does it fit me or does it fit in my home? So this is a great one, again, for clothes and decor. I actually love lots of like farmhouse decor or French provincial decor, but they actually just don't fit in the color scheme and design I have in my home. And so although I gravitate to those items, they're not something I need to keep. Same thing for clothing. If something doesn't fit you, if it doesn't fall nicely on you, chances are it's not going to ever again. And so that's a good indicator that it's time to let it go. Number 22 is very similar, but again, it's about digging in that little bit deeper and is this my style? So for example, with clothes, I have a very clear style of stuff that I like. And when I'm going through my wardrobe or going shopping, I often ask myself, yes, I can love it, I can think it's beautiful, but if it's not my style, I'm not going to get the wear out of it. It's not going to go with 20 other things in my wardrobe or 20 other things in my home. And so then I either know A, I won't purchase it, or B, I can get rid of it. Number 23 is this something I want to take care of? And when we think about items, we don't often think about us having to actually physically take care of them, even though we do. We'll have to move it if we decide to move, we have to clean it, we have to store it. So that's all time out of your life that you're using to take care of that item. Is it really worth you to keep it, or is it time that you can let it go? Number 24 is great for people who just starting out on this journey and maybe need to take it a little bit slower, and that is, can I put this aside and see if I use it? Now, of course, this does add an extra step in your decluttering journey, but look, I am all about meeting you wherever you're at on your journey, and if that's what you need to do, absolutely do it. I'm a huge fan of the maybe box. Put it out, put it aside, put it in your garage or under your stairs, and then come back to it in whatever given amount of time you think is appropriate. So you might have a little box and you'll think to yourself, at the end of winter, at the beginning of next year, if I haven't used the items in this box, I'm willing to let them go. Number 25 is this easily replaceable? So for those items that maybe are really practical, that you think you might need, if it's something that's really hard to come by, you may want to hold on to it. If it's a computer part that they don't make anymore, or something that you use all the time, a tool, keep it. But if it is something that you can go down to your local hardware store or your local computer shop and pick up cheaply and easily, then it's a little bit easier to let it go, because if it comes to the pinch and you need it again, you can get it easily. Okay, this question is all for the project people in our lives. So if you love to take on a project, or someone in your life does, this is about giving a framework, and that is, can I fix or repair this item in a given amount of time? So a time frame that I would suggest to my clients is about 2 to 3 months. So if you cannot fix or repair it in the next 2 to 3 months, then it's probably something it's not worth you hanging on to. Now, this will completely depend on what the items are and what type of person you are and what type of storage you have, but just doesn't actually matter what that time frame is. You decide that, but it will help you to gauge how many projects you can take on at one time. So a lot of my clients have heaps of well-intentioned things they would love to fix and repair and reuse, which is wonderful, but we all only have so much time in the day. And so I say, well, let's get 6 months worth of projects, and that it will be our limit. And so that's just a good way of not only not overloading yourself with things, but also not overloading your time with projects. Number 27 is, do I still own whatever this plugs into? I'm looking at you, all of my tech guys out there, or girls. This is for that Nokia phone charger that's in your drawer from 1998. If you don't still own it, it's time to let it go. This can be for kitchen items, all sorts of things, but if you don't know what it plugs into, if you don't know what that cable is for, it's time for it to go. Number 28 is about paper clutter, and this is the original necessary? So there are paperwork where we are going to need, there's your birth certificates, tax documents, all those sorts of things you will need to keep the original of. But there are so many things that we hold on to that we don't actually need the original of. I'm talking about receipts, manuals. Receipts actually fade over time, so a digital copy is much more efficient. All those sorts of things, can you digitize it, or do you need it at all? If you don't, it's time to let it go. Number 29, following on from that, is can I keep a digital record? So this is for all those non-original documents, let's keep them digitally, but also for things like kids' artwork and craft items, it's a great idea to just take a photo of your child or of the artwork and store it away. That way you're not having to keep boxes and boxes of artwork, but you can still remember all those beautiful drawings. Anything you can keep digitally, it's a way smaller footprint than that physical item staying in your house. Number 30, last on my list, is, does this line up with the me I am today? And so many of the things that we hold on to out of guilt or fear or fantasy of what we're going to do with it, and those things just don't eventuate. So if it doesn't line up with the you are today, if it's clothes that don't fit, if it's hobbies that you no longer enjoy, please feel free. Now is the time to get rid of those items. I also wanted to leave you with 3 little mantras that I use, not just myself, but also for the clients that I'm working with, particularly if you have a real emotional attachment to items, which to an extent all of us do. The mantras that I use are, number 1 is, my memories don't leave because I'm letting this item go. So if you are going to let an item go, your memories don't magically disappear because you let it go. They live within you and your stories, and you can let that item go and hold on to those beautiful memories. Number 2 is a big one, and that is, I don't love people any less because I'm letting go of this item. I say this all the time. You holding on to an item doesn't make you a better son, doesn't make you a better daughter or a better mother. These items are just items, and they know that you love them and that they love you, and that has nothing to do with the items you decide to keep. Number 3, a huge one, is these items don't define who you are. They don't define who I am, and I say this over and over and over again when I'm decluttering with people, that our identity is reflected in our items, but it doesn't define who we are. So no, don't hold on to anything thinking that you need to under any sort of obligation. I hope that these have been helpful for you. I hope that you are encouraged and motivated to keep decluttering. Like I said earlier, if you haven't subscribed, we would love to have you as part of our YouTube family. Here are some other videos I think you might like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.